out doing some back road driving with the Square. So thought I'd stop and answer some questions that people have been asking about it that maybe I didn't explain in my previous videos as well. So stick with me. I'm going to explain some of the stuff that I did to this beast. Alrighty, we're underneath the hood of this bad boy, and there is my LQ4, of course. So I got this bad boy here from a 2005 2500 HD. It was, of course, the 6-liter LQ4 with a 4L80E. And I bought it from salvage. I got the whole truck, so I ended up with all these accessories, everything from the truck, and obviously all my wiring harness, everything I got was with the truck. And that's one of the questions I get asked. You know, I think it's better to buy a whole complete truck from salvage or van, wherever you're going to get your LS from. And you have the wiring harness, you have all the parts you need from the get-go. That's what I found easiest on this Squarebody. So, and then I was able to part out that 2005 truck and make some cash on it to fund some of this bad boy, some of the projects on this bad boy. So first thing, always, every part I order is for a 2005 2500 HD with a 6-liter. And I'm running the alternator and the power steering pump from the 2500, everything off that original truck I am running. And I did convert this one over to an NV4500, a standard. So in 2005, there was an NV4500 actually behind these engines. So to find a flywheel and the pilot bearing, I just always used a 2005 2500 HD for my clutch end of things with the MV. And you know what, my LS, I mean, this thing isn't nothing crazy. I basically did leave it somewhat stock. You know, I got a cold air intake on there, but I did tear down the engine. It had roughly about 230,000 kilometers on it when I got it. It was a ex-RCMP cop truck up here in Canada. So I don't know what kind of life it lived, but I re-bearinged it, cam and, you know, crank and connecting rods. I also punched it out slightly and put flat top pistons in the bad boy. And I also, when I had the heads off, I kind of did a little bit of home die grinding myself. There's a rocker stud lump that I got rid of, and I put a little bit better spring on the valves, of course. And basically it's pretty much stock from there on in. You know, I do have headers on it, and that was a real good mod to do. I feel it really helped me get it in this, like, make the motor fit and get the exhaust work done easy. It was best bang for your buck, I'd say, and a good place to spend some money. So next I'm gonna move on to kind of the wiring harness computer. I know I get asked, you know, it looks like a complete rat's nest. I know I did add, you know, more fuses. I didn't, you know, the best bet is to look on lt1swap.com. there is a lot of good info there, and that's how I did the pinout on my ECM and how I kind of made my own, you know, fuse block. And I added a few more fuses just so that I didn't have so much running on one, you know, 3 or 4 fuses only. And if you can follow that lt1swap.com, you know, your LS wiring, it's not going to be that hard to do if you got the complete truck, like I said. And I was able to mangle this harness into fitting. I have it running off the Squarebody inside, like with the key. It all functions as it should be, like a stock truck. It's kind of crazy. My first LS swap, I kind of just wired it in myself, and I didn't make the truck side, I guess the factory Squarebody side, do anything. I just made my own wiring harness and everything else in the cab. But this one, I kind of wanted to keep it stock with the key, you know, original, and I was able to do it on this one, and it works quite well, you know, no problems. It's a great swap, and, you know, that way the wiring harness. And yeah, I chose to leave my ECM kind of here and all my wiring, and then I relocated the battery. I have other videos on kind of this stuff explaining that. And yeah, it is a mouse nest, rat's nest. It's working. You know, it's not cutting out on me or doing goofy crap as far as that. So the other question I get asked always is fuel mileage, you know, and if you look at the truck, it's on 35s, you know, an MV. You know, I have no idea. It's not my daily driver. I drive it when I can, and it's a lot of back roads and whatever I want to do. I have no idea on fuel mileage. You know, I kind of chuckle because normally a 6 liter is not known to be good on fuel. But you know, I'll keep you posted. I have no idea right now. It goes through gas, I can tell you that. It's nothing, it's not a miracle worker or anything. But that's kind of the motor itself and some of the wiring. Like I said, the best bet is to buy a whole salvage vehicle, I think, if you have the room for it. Strip it down, that way you got everything. This instance, like when I bought the truck that this came from, I knew the tranny was blown anyways. And when the original truck that I ran this 6 liter in, I put a turbo 400 behind it, so I really didn't need a transmission. You know, that way too, if you can buy the transmission and have it all with your swap is what I'd suggest too, if you want, like with the 4L80 and everything. So next is obviously, you know, the next question I get is my clutch and my transmission. I do have the NV4500 in this bad boy, and I got it from, sweet gear shifter, I got it from a 92-ish Chevy with a 6.2 diesel in it, and I bought it from a buddy, supplied it to me, everything. You know, it does have the passenger side drop on it, which I know some people don't think it's clears, but this bad boy, you know, it's got a 6-inch lift, so I was able to clear all that quite easily. So that transmission, you know, it bolts right back to the back of that 6 liter, like I said, because these buggers came with a NV4500 in the day. But as far as I use the 6 liter flywheel and pilot bearing from that year of truck, but then where I kind of switched it up, I used a pressure plate and clutch from the original SM465. I used a heavy duty 12-inch disc clutch. It goes onto the flywheel. You need ARP bolts, but you can put that clutch, the SM465 clutch, onto the back of the LS flywheel, and it all works. You know, I had a few guys message me about longevity of the clutch and everything else. You know what, it's working right now. I don't have a pile of miles on it at all. You know, maybe a couple 100 miles. I haven't been driving. It's working great so far, but I mean, like I said, it's not like I got a zillion miles on this bad boy. So in time, you know, I might change my tone, but right now it's working with that small block clutch in there. And then the MV bolted up to that, and that was easy. And then another question I get asked a lot is on my slave cylinder and master cylinder there. So basically there again, the tranny's from a 92-ish 6.2 diesel, like 2500. So I just use that truck when I look up the parts, and I bought a whole master cylinder and slave with the line right from my local Napa. It came full of fluid, bled, so all I had to do was kind of bolt it up. And this truck was an SM465 with a manual clutch. So I just, there again, I eyeballed that and I made it work. I put it all in. The clutch pedal, honestly, the only problem with the system, it is a little bit stiff to push. It's not like a light, you know, sports car, or, you know, it takes a little bit of pushing to get that clutch to go down. It's not like crazy hard, but it's definitely noticeable. I got a 87 Firebird with a 5-speed in it, and it is definitely noticeable. That one's a lot easier than this sucker, but it works. You know, everything works good there. And so I'll include some parts list in the description below. So basically when I order parts for that tranny, I use the 92 6.2 diesel, what it came out of, like I knew what it came from. So then I am able to order parts and make that work. And then behind my MV, I used a 208T case out of a 86 Squarebody that had a turbo 400 in it. And I was able to use that transfer case and actually the transmission brace from the turbo 400 and 208 truck bolted right up to the MV. I could use the original transmission mount from the MV into the cross member of that sucker. Actually, I might just back the truck up here and put it on the road so I don't crawl in the grass, but I'll get underneath there and show you that. Okay, tucked up underneath the truck here. That's that original brace from the 86 Chevy running the turbo 400. You know, it fits all in there really good. I actually just had to ream the holes slightly and it fit amazingly. Actually, it's pretty crazy that it actually worked, you know. And my 208 sitting back there, yeah, there you can see it. Got it all in there. You know what, I never even pulled it apart. The truck I got it from had like 300,000. I just put some new seals, input output seals, and I slapped it in here. It's working fine. You know, I know some people hate the 208, but you know, this bad boy works pretty good for me. I've had good luck with them. You know, I'm not too rough on them. So there's all that. That brace works really good with that MV tucked up in there. It fit really good. And I do have a removable transmission pan, or floor pan, I guess, and transmission hump. And that might have been, you know, maybe some of the ease of getting the MV in there and the shifter tower. It all worked very well. Alrighty, I hope that video answers some questions as far as my truck, you know, what's going on with it, what parts I used. And the biggest thing to take away, anytime I order parts for that engine, it's from a 2005 2500 HD 6-liter, you know, as far as a flywheel, water pump, power steering pump, everything came from that original 2005. And same with that transmission, you know, I got it from a 92 Chevy 6.2 diesel, so that's the one I use all the time for parts, what I'm ordering, so that kind of keeps it clear. You know, if you're liking what you're seeing, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to do videos here and there when I get time, when I'm not so busy at work, but I'm hoping to make some more content on the truck. And like always, thanks for watching.